Hi everyone and welcome to Persist tutorials. This is Ahmed Fakhr and this tutorial about managing state in React Native. But before starting to discuss the state and managing state in React Native, let's first discuss what we will go through this tutorial. The first subject is about the three levels for saving data. Then we will go to the difference between setstate and redux. And finally, how to use state and redux and when you want to use state and when you want to use redux. Now, let's start. The three levels for saving data. There is a three levels for saving data in mobile applications. In general, when you use Android or iOS or any mobile platform, there is a three levels for using or saving the data. The first level is saving the data on the fly, which called the current state. The second is saving the data on the storage, which called also Persist state. And the third level, which is saving the data online, which called through API calling. Now let's discuss these levels one by one in details. The first one, which is saving the data on the fly. The first concept behind the current state, it is when you run the application, any data changed, it will keep any updates as it is while you move between screens until you end the application. And as example, if you are a web developer, PHP or ASP, you remember that you use a session. It is keep the state between web pages because, as you may know, that HTTP requests not saving the state. So you want to use session to keep the state between web pages. That's good. So the next question is, what is the right scale? The right scale is this way fit to small amount of data like user logging or changing the theme color for your application. Level 2, which is saving the data on the storage, which called also Persist state. How to know this level? When you end the app, the current state will save into the mobile storage. As example, SQLite. Then, when run the app again, it will retrieve the data from the storage. So the app find to work without need to network connection, which is, as you may notice, the opposite of the first level. The first level, you can't save the state after ending the app, but in this level, you saved the state after ending the app or remove it from the memory. Now, what is the scale? Guess what? This level also is fit to small amount of data, but maybe more than the first level, but still a small amount of data because the mobile overall is not fit to saving a big data, not suitable for this position. So what is the next level? The next level is saving the data online, which called also the API calling. When we use this level, when we want to save a big amount of data, which should saved online through the API calling. This API may be built with PHP MySQL as a server-side application, or Node.js plus MongoDB, or whatever. So when you open your app, it will call the API and fetch the data to update your current state. In most cases, you should use the 3 types, but for some apps scale, you may get enough with the first and the third type only. Let's go to the second subject, which is comparing between the setstate, which is built in Facebook React Native, and redux, which is a third library you can integrate with React Native or React or whatever the framework you use. What is the difference between setstate and redux? First, there is 2 types of the state. The first type, which is global state, and the second type, which is local state. The global state is the state that holds the whole app data that need to share between multiple components. Remember that. The data that we need to share between multiple components, like user profile screen, which is changed from one user to another. As example, if you log in and you enter your username and password and click login, then you can access some data like your profile. When you log out, you can't see some screens like your profile. So there is 2 screens, login screen and profile screen. Here you want to share the data between the 2 screens, which in this situation called a global state. What is the local state? The local state is the opposite, which is the state that used specifically for one component. Therefore, other components doesn't need to know about it, which is known also as a UI state, because it mostly used by the UI components. RUC4 share between multiple components, and the local is one component, state for one component. As example, the form validation is a local state. A boolean that represents whether a specific drop-down menu is actively displayed is a local state. The currently selected tab in the tab navigation is a local state, which lead us to ask the right question, which, as you guess, what is the redux? The redux is the third library which gave us the ability to manage a global state. The global state, the whole application data that we need to share between multiple components. For this, we use redux, the global state, and the native state, which is built in React Native. It is the local state that we can use for one component. Again, when we use redux, the short answer is to use it to hold the global state for your application, and the opposite, use setstate to hold the local presential component state. This is actual the minimum theoretical side for this subject. Now, let's enough talking, enough theoretical, and go through the practical side, which is in the next video. Thank you for watching. See you next. Bye.